Well, welcome to the Pulse of Spokane. Kent Adams here, and we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects today, the state of the free market, with a couple of gentlemen here. And it's so important, and we've had so many negative things about this program works, that program works, but it's really the state of the free market that works for all of us. We'll be right back.
We are slowly coming out of a great uncertainty. How long can we sustain government spending? And how has government increased regulation affected the free market? Join ABC, Spokane Home Builders, and Star Financial. Host a breakfast panel, State of the Free Market. 3 Washington Policy Center experts to share the most accurate accounting of what is happening with the free market in Washington State. Get your tickets today. SpokaneFreeMarket.com. Paid for by Spokane GOP.
I've got some great guests in here, and I'm meeting Bill for the first time. Bill,
Sure.
right?
Yes,
And
sir.
you're with?
Associated Builders and Contractors.
All right. We're going to talk about that today as well as in the future. You're going to come back, right?
Absolutely.
And then we've got Brian Steele, and I know what you do. You cause trouble.
Yeah, that's right. But I try to cause trouble in the right direction.
The right direction
The
is
right
is true.
direction.
What is your title?
I am the chair of the Spokane County Republican Party.
Right. And Joel, I've known you for a while.
Yes, we have.
Yes. And one of us is getting old and the other isn't, okay? With the Spokane Home Builders.
Yes,
right?
yes,
Right.
been there for
How are
16
things
years.
going?
Well, we're not keeping up with the demand, and of
No.
course, the price of government regulation is part of the problem.
You know, that is so true. Because you look at, we're not building condos anymore,
No.
for the most part.
No.
We're building a lot of apartments, but way behind and I've heard things like $38,000 more to build a house today, and that's probably low.
Yeah.
Those are old numbers. I mean, what's going on? What's going on, honestly, and you're going to agree, I think, with this, is too much regulation, both locally, statewide, and nationally, but not as much we can do nationally. But there's something really important coming up on Friday, the 20th, and there are a few tickets left. Brian, I'm going to turn to you because you kind of are leading the charge, although all 3 of you involved. What is going on?
What we decided some months ago that all the things that Joel and Bill are talking about need to become highlighted in the community so people can be aware of it and understand why some of the problems we're feeling and seeing and having to live through are actually happening. And you just said it properly. Government regulation, government overreach, even a lot of the cancel culture activities that go on inhibit the free flow of the economy and making things work for us. We believe in a free market and that it does and has provided the best solution.
And
So-
everybody benefits. It's not just the builder
Right.
or the owner and so forth. In fact, I know of and you may know who he is, as someone who's owned low-income housing who just is throwing in and selling, giving up, okay? And we're starting to hear those stories. Those are homes that probably will be fixed up and sold for much higher than the people have been in them now, okay? And that's hard on people who are fighting the rent battle right now, and it's a challenge, but it really stems back from our not doing what we want to do in the community when the builders were willing to build and all that goes on there. From your point of view, how is this affecting your builders? Because you work with
Yeah, with Associated Builders and Contractors, we represent, and work with commercial contractors of all sizes. And the constant complaint is we don't even know what laws to follow anymore because there's so many new laws coming out.
Yeah.
We can't keep up. I'm a lawyer by trade, and even I can't.
Oh, I'm
keep up
sorry.
with everything. I know, I know. So these poor business owners are out there. They're trying to comply. They're trying to do what they can, but they're just getting bombarded every single day with state and local regulations that they just can't keep up with.
Yeah.
And anytime that a regulation comes out, it always affects cost.
Yes.
It always affects cost, and these regulations are being thought up of and dreamed up of by people that have never held a hammer in their hand before.
Yeah.
So it's very frustrating for our folks, and they just are trying to keep up with those costs. And ultimately, they have to pass that cost on to the consumer because they're not out there to build these buildings for free or for a loss.
Right. Well, and their costs, I mean, I talked to one builder In fact, I think when you guys were in up at our other studio, who said, you know, the contract I have and I'm finishing it up in the next few months, and my cost of lumber alone, and this is a year, more than a year ago, has gone up 10 or 15,000. There goes my income. I mean, it's not like the builders are profiting from this. Actually, who's profiting, unfortunately, are some of our elected officials. I think of the Spokane City Council. We've got a left wing who care more about the air in the Soviet Union or somewhere else across the world and climate change than about people here in our own community. It's time for them to focus on our own community and help folks. From builders, you work with builders too.
Oh yeah, a few builders,
Yeah, a few. You hear it daily, don't you?
Yeah, trying to keep up with the demand has been difficult. We've got a lot of influx of new, people moving into the area, and they are driving up the price of the housing. But it's also the cost of regulation. Going back to the cost of house, people don't realize 25%, nearly a quarter of the cost of house is actually due to government regulation.
Oh, gee.
So a quarter. I mean, we're talking. So when you look at a $400,000 house, $100,000 that house is just purely, and that's from the land entitlement, the development stage, through the construction of the home. And we're a heavily regulated industry. I know Bill is industry as well, and people don't understand that. So when they think about all those builders making a ton of money, well, in the downturn, we had people actually losing money because of the cost of material increases. We're dealing with labor, lumber, and the land cost all come together, and so it becomes a daily burden. Plus, they're dealing with all the regular business it costs at all the others, taxation and all the regulatory burden that every business faces. And it's just, as a small business person, it's hard to keep up with the demand.
Yeah, what gets me, honestly, is that we've got some leadership from Spokane, and they go to the west side and cave into the wet side of the state and the liberals over there. I want to get back. So we know where the problem is. We all agree on it. It's regulation, really, when it comes down to it. And that's what's caused the shortage and so forth. My honest hope is that we don't get into a position where all the people that want to move here bring some of the regulations from Seattle and some of the other places that have seen an exodus of folks. Let's get back to what's really our focus today, and that's next Friday. Tell me about who's going to be there and what's going to be talked about. And you've got the cheat sheet in front of you.
I brought a cheat sheet.
Yes,
I did. So let me just share that with you. We've got 3 great panelists coming from the Washington Policy Center. They specialize in research on the free market. But they have different areas there. We've got Mark Harmsworth, small business.
Yes.
We know small business is the backbone of
it's the heart and soul of our community.
Of any economy, and particularly Spokane.
Yes.
It is huge in small business. So he's going to talk about that, what's happened to it, what regulation has done to it, what some of the crackdowns over the last 2 years have done, how free market can provide solutions to getting that going better again. Elizabeth Hovde, healthcare. You might think, what's that have to do? She's looking at, that's a really regulated industry. And again, costs in that industry, up to half,
we all pay for it. Right?
Up to half
we all do.
by regulation. And she's going to talk about what free market solutions in that industry could do to solve some of that problem. Then we got Todd Myers, Environmental Research Director. Here's the thing. Nobody wants to mess up their own backyard.
Right. No.
The idea that these gentlemen in their businesses or any other business want to trash this community.
We live here.
Yeah, it's not true.
Yeah.
And in fact, the United States is better than any other country in reaching its environmental goals, even though our last president took us out of some of those accords that weren't very helpful. And I don't think that message is getting out either, how good we are at it. And the free market, again, even in that area, has provided more actual concrete solutions. I was just listening to a farmer the other day. He said, new tractors use 1/8 of the gas or diesel that they used to. We don't know that. People aren't aware of it. They don't know of all the advances we've made.
Some on the left don't want to hear that.
No.
But, honestly, that's part of the problem.
These people are going to give us some solutions to that. Plus, we've got a primary season coming up, right?
I've heard that.
Yeah.
You're going to have a couple people there that count.
We've got right now, I think, 18 people who have filed to run in the primary. We're going to give each of them 60 seconds to introduce themselves and talk about what's important to them,
Brian,
to this
I'm sorry.
community.
A political candidate cannot do anything in 60 seconds.
I know,
I'm
but
kidding,
we've got to
of
set a
course.
limit,
Yeah,
and
no,
at
you
least
do.
we can start getting them off stage in 1 minute, right?
Get the hook.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that'll be interesting to see how well we
Yeah.
do there.
Yeah.
But we're excited about that, to introduce
Who's
people,
coming?
Of the candidates.
Well, no, who's speaking?
The other speakers we
Yeah.
have, some political speakers also.
Yes.
We've got Kathy McMorris Rogers.
I've heard of her.
That is coming, and I'll tell you, she is doing a great job.
Yes.
If you aren't aware of it, get on our newsletter and our email list, because I get something every week from her now about what she's fighting for us back in Washington, D.C. Nadine Woodward will be one
good,
of our
good,
speakers.
yes.
And she's going to talk about not trashing our own backyard. She's working real hard to fix some of our
It's
problems.
an uphill battle based on the council that she has.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Yep.
You know, the last initiative she put forward, the council actually was in favor of it until she decided to make it happen, and then just for politics' sakes, they backed off and said,
Why
we can't
am I
support
not
it.
surprised?
Okay.
Okay.
And then Jonathan Bingle, who's a
Oh,
new
good.
up-and-coming politician
Yes.
in the area, and we've seen is not afraid at all to jump in the fray and take on tough stuff.
Good people.
Yeah.
And I love the Craig Cardle's Chris. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Washington Post.
Washington Policy.
said.
Yes. Yep.
I only know Chris and saw him the other day at the Davenport, but it's like you can't think of it sometimes. We used to have him on all the time, and in fact, he still comes on every so often, and really good, unbiased truth of what's going on. And I know a lot of liberals don't want to look at it because they don't like seeing the real world out there. And let's deal with really what's going on. You're near capacity already for next Friday.
We're very close.
Okay.
So if you're
Okay,
interested,
so how do people sign up?
they go to SpokaneGOP.com.
Okay. That's so hard to remember.
Well, let me say it again, SpokaneGOP.com.
Even at my age, I can remember that.
And
Quit laughing over here.
It's
I've
the-
known you too long. He's
it's right
laughing
on
at-
the first
he's
page of the
laughing at me.
website. They won't
Yeah.
have a hard time finding it.
Okay. What's the cost?
It's $45.
That's good.
This is an event that we wanted to make available to anyone that was interested.
Yes.
So it's not hugely expensive.
Great, great. Thank you, gentlemen, for all that you're doing for our free enterprise system and for building. And we'll get this done. It's going to take a while, but we're going to get this done. And we're just going to roll over those that are the naysayers, because it's best for our community. You all love our community. I know that. So thank you for what you're doing, okay? And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on The Pulse of Spokane.
Hello, I'm Parker with Hope Neighborhood Coffee Roasters. Hope is a student-led professional coffee production here at the Hunt Settlement. To promote cultural awareness through country of origin studies with coffee farmers worldwide. And third, provide a sustainable funding for the Hunt Settlement education program.
Hi, my name is Roxanne. Please join us to nurture and educate Hutton youth by becoming a monthly coffee subscriber. You can visit us by going to www.huttonsettlement.org and click on the About Us page. Thank you.